What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle. Massive, exciting, girthy news coming up here. We got a presser, like a news update here talking about the end of the year for DD2. And Red Hook dropped this about 20 minutes ago. And so, talking about kingdoms. Hunger of the Beast Clan. The kingdom is under siege. Bestial horrors stampede in wanton herds. They strike with swift ferocity, spreading chaos, poison, and death. The land trembles to the drumbeat of thundering hooves. So, yeah. So the abomination was like kind of a weregoat, and they're supposed to be beastmen like him, and so they got hooves. That's what I'm assuming it's referring to. Guttural braying at their backs, refugees flock to the inns. Kingdoms is an entirely new game mode being added to DD2 as a free update. You'll be tasked with defending the realm from incursions by all new enemy factions. This is really cool, not just for base game content, but, modders can probably do some interesting stuff having new models to use here. And so, journey across the land in your coach. Of course, you're in the wagon. Upgrade your inns. Interesting. Complete quests and defeat the final boss. Pretty generic here, but interesting. Featuring a completely reimagined game structure, Kingdoms is a parallel experience to the base Confessions game mode. Kingdoms will be released in thematic modules, each focusing on a different threat. Up first, the pitiless onslaught of rotting, ravenous beastmen. So what's really cool and also understandable here is that if they're releasing factions and all that to Kingdoms in waves, that means it's something that can get continuously updated. Maybe modders can make their own Kingdoms factions, at some point when we can make models and stuff like that. That would be really cool. So you don't have to worry about too much, at least. Making a new region, you can just make, like 6 enemies and a boss or something like that. And so what we saw was in the Kingdoms trailer about 6 months ago, 5 months ago. Actually 4. Anyway, we saw Beastmen, the Crimson Court enemies, and the Virago from the Weald. So it looks like the Weald enemies are not going to be the same as the Beastmen, I'm assuming. So we have 3 different ones, and we're starting with Beastmen. I'm assuming the Crimson Court might be last, just because that's like the most exciting out of the bunch. No disrespect to the other ones. So, pretty interesting. Kingdoms also free, if you didn't know. They said it multiple times, but I'll tell you again. Kingdoms is a free update. And right now, I think Darkest Dungeon 2 is on sale for like a day at almost half off. So if you are interested in Kingdoms, and you didn't like the base game, I guess just get ready for Kingdoms. Or if you haven't jumped in yet, one of these quick sales is probably a good time to do it. The other part, so there's this rock, paper, shotgun, I think, article, the same time as Kingdoms came out, which they didn't put it on the III presentation for some reason. But it talked about another paid DLC adding a region coming to Confessions, which is the base game mode that we do, the 5 runs and stuff. And at the time, I believe they said no new heroes were on deck, but it looks like they changed their mind. We'll speculate with, I'm assuming, pretty close accuracy. Again, no inside knowledge of what's happening right now. Inhuman Bondage DLC. Ancient sepulchres oozing with the gelatinous night soil of 1,000 corpses. That calling it that kind of is kind of nasty because if I remember correctly, night soil is a name for like human shit from the like the Middle Ages. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is, unless it has other meanings. So. That's gross. Plunge your coach into the long-forgotten catacombs beneath the kingdom and face a corrosive, oozing threat. So a lot of blight The beasts are going to have poison and blight, it's assuming, because Abomination did. And this other DLC thing's going to have blight too. DLC introduces a new sluice-sized bonus region to DD2, along with a faction, new enemies, and new items. The sluice in the regular game, if you're not aware, is like a free area. It's called a bonus area where, you know, normally you have to beat 2 if it's denial, but 3 regions to get to the mountain after the valley. And the sluice is an optional thing that, you know, is risky, but you get stuff. So it's like, you know, I'm going to subject my team to these tough monsters, probably get like 4 diseases, and, you know, in the meantime, I'll pick up like 60 gold, maybe like 2 mastery. And so it seems like this new area is going to be following that idea. High risk, high reward. This new region will bring variety and challenge to both Confession and Kingdom game modes. It'll be in both? How does that work? It's fantastic. A new hero joins the roster as well, complete with unique trinkets, origin story, palettes, weapon kits, and unique mechanics. There's a lot to unpack here. If we look in the back, this kind of, it almost feels like this overlaps with the Warrens, because the Warrens kind of had the same vibe going on, although it's blue instead of like yellowish orange, I guess. The other thing to note in this picture back here is the crystals growing in the back. These are from Color of Madness, so I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of Color of Madness theme for this one, which was a DLC for DD2 where you went to the farmstead. Be cool if the farmstead was the region, but I mean, I'll take this too for sure. So there will probably be stuff similar to that, because a couple of them did use blight, like the farmhands. I hate the farmhands with a passion. So the seeds is one of the worst attacks in the series. And if that comes back, I'm going to be very upset. But otherwise, with stuff happening here, I can't, you know, maybe it's not like a Warrens type thing, because it said gelatinous, you know, but there's a bunch of crystals. The crystals in the Farmstead DLC always look like they're kind of melting, which is a bit odd, or like they were like wet, saturated, stuff like that. You know, they weren't just solid rock formations. They were like melting into goo. And that's what's happening here. And it looks like the goo from the crystals is kind of making the runoff here for the area. Plus, there's a bunch of chains. I think that's a lot of foreshadowing right there. There's a ton of chains right here. There's a little... Oh, look at that! Okay, I can't quite tell the symbol on this. I don't think it's the ABOM symbol. I'm not quite sure what that symbol is while looking at it, but there's fingers. There's a hand. This is a coffin. Someone's being transported. So we have fingers coming out of a coffin. We have beastmen being made for kingdoms. We have chains all over the place. Is this the Warrens? I don't know. This upside down symbol looks a bit familiar. But a lot of signs are pointing to Abomination. The first, they're making beastmen as enemies coming back. That means if they follow Abomination's mechanics, they're going to transform, you know, when they start attacking. And that means that the game is going to have models that transform. So they will already have the kind of the framework to make that for a hero as well. The other thing, the chains all over the place kind of feels like another hint to ABOM. Like, that's just too on the nose, because he was always wrapped up in chains, you know, which was weird. Like, he was always wrapped up in chains, but whenever he transformed, he broke them anyway. But he would use the chains to attack as well. The nail in the coffin for why this is 99% Abomination is Inhuman Bondage DLC. This was the exact name they used in Darkest Dungeon 1 about 8 years ago. Guess who came in that update? Abomination. So I think it's almost a certainty at this point that it's ABOM. And I'm really excited about that. We'll cover the news, obviously, when we get more of it. But yeah, this was an interesting patch, too. We got Abomination, Collector, Madman. I actually wasn't playing during this time yet. But that was, pretty cool. So that's what we have going on. A lot to be excited about. This will be paid. That's fine. If it's anything like the Binding Blade, a hero is roughly worth $5. Because that's what the other two were, but you also get the backstories and stuff too. How much is a region worth? Maybe 5 as well. Is this another $10 DLC? Not bad. I mean, if it is 10 for a region that can be used in both game modes and a new hero, that's going to be sick as hell. So, really exciting stuff. It's going to be it for this one. Let me know what you think down below. If you think it might be a different hero or just your general thoughts, comments, excitement, because I'm excited. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.